The sky above Oyo-Ile was heavy that night. Thunder rolled over the savannah as if the gods themselves were restless. Inside the palace, Alaafin Arugongo sat alone in silence. Before him stood the Oyo Mesi, the 7 elders of the empire, led by the cold and powerful Basharun. In the trembling hands of a young attendant lay the black calabash containing parrot eggs. It was the symbol of death. When the Oyo Mesi sent the calabash, it meant the king must take his own life. Aole looked at it for a long time, his heart heavy. He had ruled a kingdom torn apart by pride and rebellion. He had trusted his council, but they had turned against him. They said,
"A king who betrays his people is no king at all. He is a ghost, haunting the throne he no longer deserves."
But Aole knew it was greed disguised as tradition. Before Aole drank the poison, Aole whispered a curse.
"My betrayal will bring ruin upon Oyo."
That was the year the drums of Oyo stopped beating, and the fall of one of Africa's greatest empire had begun. Long before that night, the story of Oyo began in the early 14th century. It was founded by Oranmiyan, son of Oduduwa. Oduduwa, the father of the Yoruba land and the father of Yoruba people. Oranmiyan was a prince of Ife, a brave warrior, restless and wise. He journeyed north and established the first Oyo settlement near the Ogun River. The settlement would grow into a city of greatness, Oyo-Ile, the capital of an empire. Oyo rose because its people were disciplined, united and intelligent. The Alaafin, the king, ruled with divine authority, believed to be chosen by the gods. Yet his power was not absolute. Beside him stood the Oyo Mesi, the council of 7 chiefs, led by the Basharun. They were guardians of the people's will and the keepers of tradition. If a king became unjust and unfit, the Oyo Mesi could send him the calabash, a silent command to die. This system created balance in Oyo-Ile. Strength without tyranny, power with accountability. It was one of the most advanced systems of governance in Africa. Oyo-Ile prospered because of its location. It stood between the forest and the savannah, controlling trade routes that stretched deep into West Africa. Caravans came from the north with horses, leathers, and swords from the Hausa land. From the south came palm oil, kola nut, and so on. Markets were filled with laughter, music, and the sound of blacksmith hammers. Life in Oyo was guided by honor, loyalty, and tradition. The people believed the empire would last forever. By the 16th century, Oyo had become a giant, a power unmatched in the region. Its army was well organized and feared across the land. At the head of this force stood the Are Onakakanfo, the supreme general of war. The Are was chosen by the king, but could never live in Oyo itself. His duty was to protect the empire's borders, and he never allowed to retreat in battle. The empire imported horses from the north and trained skilled riders. When Oyo's horsemen charged, the ground trembled and dust covered the sun itself. Under kings like Alaafin, Abikpa, Ojiji, and Obalokun, Oyo expanded its territory, conquering far and wide. Neighboring kingdoms like Dahomey, Egba, and Nupe paid annual tribute to the Alaafin. In return, they were protected and allowed to trade freely under Oyo's law. By the early 18th century, Oyo's influence stretched from the Niger River to the coast of present-day Republic of Benin. It was a land of justice, wealth, and discipline. People called it the Empire of Iron and Fire. But as power grew, so did pride. The balance that once held the empire together began to tilt. The first great crack came through the rise of a man named Basharun Gaa. Gaa was the prime minister, the most powerful man under the king. But he hungered for more. He controlled the council and even the throne itself. 4 successive kings, Alaafin Labisi, Alaafin Awonbioju, Alaafin Agboluaje, and Alaafin Majeogbe, were forced to commit suicide under his command. The empire trembled under his wickedness. But then came Alaafin Abiodun, a wise and courageous ruler. He rose against Gaa, defeated him, and ordered him executed in public. For a time, peace returned. But trust between the throne and the council was forever broken. After Abiodun's death, Alaafin Aole Arugongon ascended the throne around 1789. He was intelligent but mistrusted by the chiefs. To strengthen Oyo's defenses, he appointed Afonja, a strong and proud warrior, as the new Are Ona Kakanfo, and stationed him in Ilorin, the northern gateway of the empire. At first, Afonja was loyal, but tensions soon grew between him and the Alaafin. Haole ordered Afonja to attack the town of Apom, a move that would have led to the slaughter of fellow Yoruba. Afonja refused, believing the command was unjust and designed to destroy him. He felt betrayed, used by a king who wanted to weaken his power, so he turned against Aole. To strengthen his rebellion, he invited outsiders, Fulani warriors, to join him, hoping to overthrow the Alaafin. But what began as rebellion soon became real. The Fulani, skilled horsemen from the north, had issue with Afonja and took Ilorin for themselves. In 1823, Ilorin became an Islamic emirate, allied with Sokoto. That was the wound that bled Oyo dry. The empire's northern shade was gone. Enemies closed in, and the cause of Alaafin Aole began to bear fruits. By the early 1800s, the once mighty Oyo Empire had begun to collapse. The Dahomey Kingdom rebelled and refused to pay tributes. The Egba and Ijebu broke away to rule themselves. Corruption spread among the Ajele, local governors who ruled conquered lands with wickedness. The people revolted against Oyo's authority. Then came the Fulani Jihad, sweeping down from the north with fire and faith. Oyo, weakened by civil strife and betrayal, could not stand against it. Village after village fell. The cavalry that once conquered kingdoms now struggled to survive. By 1835 came the final blow, the Battle of Eleduwe. The last king of the Old Oyo Empire, Alaafin Oluewu, led his warrior into battle. He fought bravely, invoking spirits of Ogun and Songo. But he was surrounded by Fulani horsemen. He fell on the battlefield, sword in his hand. The great capital, Oyo-Ile, was burned and abandoned. The people fled south, carrying only their memories and their gods. In time, Alaafin Atiba, Oluewu's successor built a new city known as Oyo Atiba, or the New Oyo, near the forest of the south. But the old glory was gone. The empire that had ruled for over 400 years had vanished. Today, only ruins remain of Oyo-Ile, walls swallowed by grass, roads leading nowhere, and broken stones covered in silence. Yet the spirit of Oyo still lives in its people. The system of shared power between rulers and elders inspired future governments and preserved the idea of accountability. The story of Oyo is a lesson written in dust and blood. It teaches that greatness is not only built by strength, but by unity, wisdom, and justice. It reminds us that the fall of an empire begins not from outside, but from within. So when the thunder rolls across the sky, remember the words of Alaafins, that no kingdom survives the betrayal of its own. And when the drums of Oyo are silent, listen closely, for in the whisper of the wind, you will still hear the voice of a nation that once ruled the savannah with honor and pride.
Thanks for watching. Like, follow, and subscribe for more stories that echo through time. Haima Digital Myths and Monarchs AI series.